polyester. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a huge pleasure to be here with you all. I thank you. Oh, I thank Alfredo, who at Interplast we did everything that we need to do to be here today and present a practical case about EPS recycling, known as polystyrene. So, if I could have the slide changer. How do I do that? Okay. So, first of all, let's talk about who we are. We started 63 years ago. We have more than 1,000 employees. We are market leaders in the Brazilian market for EPS packaging. We have a petrochemical unit. We create our own raw materials. We are based in many states of the country, as you can see. I want to reinforce, give you guys a message that this material, the EPS, the polystyrene, is 100% recyclable continuously. It uses very few natural resources, very little water, and it's made pretty much 98% of air. It doesn't contaminate the air, the soil, doesn't generate any impact or risk. It doesn't have fungi or bacteria. It just needs to be well taken care of. Where we act are the segments of industrial packaging, where we are leaders in the Brazilian market. We entered the agribusiness with conservative solutions to transport fruit. Also, during the pandemic, our thermal chain solutions, which are the full cold transport chain for vaccines. We recently launched GoPack, which has been a packaging very used a lot for transportation of glass bottles and e-commerce. We create our own raw materials at ISOPOR, and we're also in the raw materials market. Everybody knows that global pressure lately has been very serious for plastics. We talked about this, that media chases us indistinctively. The legislations are more and more restrictive to plastic. Without saying, this last wave of, I call, paperization. The best solution is paper, not plastic. Thankfully, we've seen that it's not like that exactly. We need to talk about it and bring more sustainable solutions. And we need to face all this aspect of the circular economy and face it as a journey. First of all, we deal with this as four pillars of sustainability. The first is the material. It can be renewable or non-renewable with all its characteristics. It being non-renewable, it can be recycled as well through PSR and so on. We need more and more the participation of the brand owners. That without those brand owners starting the usage with PSR, with post-consumption contents, we don't have a way to develop this market. Another aspect that we have in our view is the loss reduction, conservation, protection with food safety, and talking about convenience.
Pode pegar. So EPS helps a lot in that with the release of weight and obviously with less fuel consumption. So we conducted a study that is very nice that consider the emissions of the transportation of fruit in the region of Petrolina. It was done with mango. It is transported by railroad and then they're in an aircraft to Europe. And with that, we were able to save 2,500 tons of carbon equivalent. This when compared with cardboard boxes. So this obviously help and addresses this need of greenhouse gases emissions. And then another aspect in our mission is circularity, because we need really, and this will create several markets, both in reuse and in the reduction of the consumption of material. New business models will appear. Um, there are things showing that are adding services with returnable boxes, and it brings a differential that is the control of assets with traceability. Circularity with, and it has PCR, that is the reintroduction of recyclable products or the use of recyclable in our own products. Now I'm going to look at how we do that with EPS. The first step is the cleaning of this material. We receive that from several sources, cooperatives, waste managers, and then we need to clean this material appropriately, and then we process this material, and it can be grinded or it can go through extrusion. And if it's grinded, it can be again added to civil to parts of civil construction. It's a big reduction in civil construction. Or also, this can be transformed into several input for different kinds of uses, such as steel, uh, and along the day in this whole chain, if this whole chain is not working, each of these players from manufacturers, retailers, and I reinforce a lot, retailers need to be with us in this demand in points of voluntary delivery, because consumer, the first contact that they have is effectively with the retailer. And this the consumer is related to consumers, and the circuit has to be working for the economy to circulate effectively in this system. So we have the input that we call ISOPOR that can be used in several applications, both in technical pieces, promotional pieces, buckets of vases. And the main thing is that we are currently developing a big partnership with Unigel. Unigel is one of our biggest providers of input. And with them and with Electrolux, we have developed a post-consumption material of all the packages of post-consumption of Electrolux, where they have developed technical pieces that are being used in the refrigerators and in washing machines and things like that. I brought just a single example, but it's a very profitable partnership, and I thank a lot both Unigel and our partners for this solution. Also, another one that is very nice is the case of Kramer. Kramer used to be is an industry that was acquired by a multinational, but it was originally from Santa Catarina. And when what they sell is they sell tapes, medical tape, and how do they sell that? They need a cartridge, and we developed a solution with EPS post consumption that we prepare the resin and we develop this uh, uh, cartridge with 100% EPS post consumption material. This has been very successful. And we've been working very closely with Kramer, but it's not easy because this material sometimes has a small pigment and the color is not exactly that, but it's a material that is only a means for them to sell their product. But they have some very big requirements in terms of color, resistance. There can't be any other pigments and all that. And it's a great partner. Another solution, and I believe that this is the best solution for the technical use of EPS post consumption, which is to prepare these door frames and door and picture frames, and they receive this post-consumption material, and we transform that and we grind that material and we send it to them. And in the assembly line, it goes through an extrusion, and it's a co-extrusion with the layer of PS where they put already the color of the door. But it's a great solution, and it's already consuming a part of this polystyrene. No, what is? And the second one, the most recycled in percentage, is CPS. So we already have more than 30% of recycled material post-consumption. These are our biggest partners that are working with us in this solution. And I did not bring here, but we have a big partnership with HP. HP still produces printers, and the body of the printer is made mostly with EPS post-consumption. So this is basically what I wanted to bring to you as some practical examples of the use of a company that is doing that. We were pioneers here in Brazil in the recycling of EPS. And we started that more than 10 years ago, when nobody even talked about that. And as you know, EPS is something very light. It's not compactable. It has several logistic problems to make it work. So we invested every month in our chamber of recycling so that the government can understand that the recycled material needs incentive, whatever it is. And it's not incentives to the pickers or to the cooperatives, but we also need to give incentive with the legislation that demands for the use of this kind of material, and somehow reducing the tax burden that is so expensive for all this chain, because all this chain has already been paid once and we need to tax that all over again with the post-consumption material. Thank you very much. Thank you, Albano. And to deliver the thank you plate, I invite Marcelo Mazon from the INC Brazil.